ordered me to return somebody. Well, I respect the Supreme Court. We'll bring him back. Well, no. Now their position is El Salvador is sovereign. We can't order them to do anything. You can't order me as the president to conduct any type of foreign policy. This is all foreign policy. This is not foreign policy. It's only foreign because Donald Trump decided to delegate and offload and store human beings in El Salvador pursuant to a contract and pay El Salvador $6 million to fill an empty jail. Now Donald Trump loves that idea so much that he declared out loud at the Oval Office that he's considering sending U.S. citizen criminals to El Salvador. Sure, why not? There's a little something called cruel and unusual punishment. We're supposed to take care of our prisoners, not other people, based on our morals, our values, our patriotism. We don't abuse. We don't have an inhumane prison system. That's not America. That's the reason you don't want to be in other countries, because you end up in their criminal justice system, such as it is, and end up in these jails. Now let's go back to this filing that just got made by the Trump administration telling the judge to go F herself. Every day, pursuant to a court order, and there's going to be a hearing today on it about contempt, the Judge Zinnes, ordered, pursuant to her the empowerment of a Supreme Court decision that said you are responsible for administrating justice in that courtroom. You're doing the right thing, the 9-0 Supreme Court said, Judge Zinnes. You are doing the right thing to preserve the due process rights, the constitutional Fifth Amendment rights of Abrego Garcia. We like everything about your order. Continue to monitor and keep the government's feet to the fire. But there's limits. We know this, Supreme Court. They're going to back down against Donald Trump on this foreign affairs and foreign policy issues. And Trump has created it and turned it into and morphed it into a foreign policy issue. Sovereign El Salvador, sovereign U.S. We can't tell him what to do. Sure you can. You have a contractor. You're paying him $6 million. Use diplomacy to get him back. Oh, you can't order me to use diplomacy. And you can see the flip script in a comment made by Pam Bondi, who is packed into this room for this photo op. She's the head of the Department of Justice. Here's her message to Judge Zinnes with the hearing coming up today. Let's play Pam Bondi.
The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs, if they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
Now that's right on the heels of this call and response, good boy, give him a biscuit comment by the petty dictator of El Salvador, Bukele. Now, just a side note. When President Zelensky of Ukraine, who is a wartime president, literally his country is at war, showed up with like a fatigue shirt, all the Trumpers and J.D. Vance said, oh, it's so insulting. He didn't wear a shirt and tie. You'll see this next clip. Bukele shows up wearing a black T-shirt over a suit jacket. That's how he goes to the Oval Office. And this is the new thing for Donald Trump, and we're going to keep a close eye on it. He uses the Oval Office as a backdrop, as part of his bully pulpit. The pomp and circumstance of the Oval Office. I've never seen a president, and I've been covering this for a long time, and I've been a student of presidential politics since I was in college. I've never seen a president shove so many people. It's like 50 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound sack shoved into the Oval Office. Secretary of State's there, J.D. Vance is there, Pam Bondi's there. Stephen Miller, let's take a time out for Stephen Miller for a minute. Stephen Miller, who's the deputy White House chief of staff and also like a lawyer or a spokesperson for the Homeland Security. He is running all of Donald Trump's domestic policy. You don't like a domestic policy of Donald Trump? You don't like the immigration policies? You don't like what he's doing with tariffs? That is Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is the one that came up with the idea with Kristi Noem to use the Alien Enemies Act to send 250 terrorists that we're allegedly at war with at Venezuela to El Salvador in the first place. So, of course, he's in the room misstating the Supreme Court decision. But Pam Bondi knows better, but she doesn't, because this is the position they're taking a little bit inconsistently in the courtroom. Let's play a clip of a pitch and catch comment, call and response, scripted to within an inch of its life between Trump and this comment by President Bukele that ends up in a filing later that night required by Judge Zinnes. Let's play the clip of President Bukele.
How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
So you could release him inside El Salvador?
Yeah, but I'm not releasing, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country.
Hey, look at me, Michael Popok here. And yes, I'm actually using iRestore's amazing elite hair growth device. And now you know one of my many personal grooming secrets to having great looking hair at 59. It's time to shake off the winter blues and get ready for a fresh start. This season, tackle thinning hair and hair loss with the iRestore Elite. It's a clinically proven solution designed to help you regrow hair with 282 lasers and LEDs delivering light therapy directly to your scalp. Think of it as a rejuvenating treatment for your hair follicles, giving you a new look for the spring season. Now that we're experiencing those in-between days, when it's still chilly, but you're ready for a change, whether it's a rainy afternoon or a quiet evening indoors, the iRestore Elite is the perfect way to take care of your hair. Lightweight, hands-free, and painless. It works while you relax and prepare for the warmer days ahead. No hassle, just real results. For a limited time only, our listeners get $625 off their iRestore Elite when you use code LegalAF at iRestoreLaser.com. That's $625 off your iRestore Elite at iRestoreLaser.com with promo code LegalAF to get the hair regrowth device you've been wishing for and start feeling like yourself again. Listen, the iRestore Elite device is the best at-home laser device in the world. It has more lasers, LEDs, and power output than the competition, ensuring you'll see results wearing it. And maybe the best part about iRestore, they offer a 12-month money-back guarantee, so you can try it risk-free. If your hair doesn't make a glorious return, you'll get a full refund, no awkward questions, just fabulous hair or your money back. Give yourself the gift of hair confidence this spring. For a limited time only, our listeners get $625 off their iRestore Elite when you use code LegalAF at iRestoreLaser.com. That's $625 off your iRestore Elite at iRestoreLaser.com with promo code LegalAF. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Hair loss is frustrating. You don't have to fight it alone, thanks to iRestore. Now hold that thought. Let me read to you from what's been filed. Now, every day for the last 3 days, the Trump administration has had to file what we call in court a declaration, which is a sworn statement under oath. It's like an affidavit. And every day they picked a new person. I don't know whether it's a short straw going on over there, but every day it's somebody new. The first day they picked a guy that had no factual knowledge whatsoever, despite the fact that he needed to have factual knowledge. He even filed it in the wrong court or mentioned the wrong court in the filing. Then they picked another person, and now they picked a lawyer for the Department of Homeland Security, which makes sense because all they're doing is argument. This is just argumentative declarations. Declarations are supposed to be on facts of fact witnesses who know something because of their five senses, not an argument, not written by a lawyer for a lawyer in order to try to expand the record at the trial court level, in order to try to have another argument at the United States Supreme Court and relitigate the Supreme Court ruling. Now, the judge entered an order that every day at 5 o'clock, she wants to know where Abrego Garcia is in El Salvador and what steps have been taken to get him out and what steps will be taken. Now, in their filings, they're not telling her any of the steps. They're basically telling her to go F herself. We're not telling you, we're not telling you, and we're not telling you. In a separate filing, before I get to this new filing, in a separate filing on Sunday against the motion for contempt, which is going to be heard today, they actually went as far as to say, well, we know, Judge, that President Bukele is meeting on Monday with President Trump. It's a very sensitive situation, and you should just let us run this, and you can't tell us how to run foreign affairs anyway. See the United States Supreme Court decision. So we thought, oh, they like dangling the hope that they're negotiating a resolution. They were, you just saw the clip of Bukele saying, I'm not going to smuggle a terrorist back into the United States. I would never do that. Well, and Trump's like, well, what am I supposed to do? You saw. And you saw Pam Bondi say, well, we'd send a plane if he got out. Yeah, right. If he smuggled himself out, if there was a jailbreak like on television and he got out sudden of the super max prison